Yesterday I was thinking about people that's in this town, and people that I've met that they will lie to other people and even to you, to your own face. And their lies are so extremely like solid, so deceiving. Some people even say you got to look into the eyes. The eyes never lie, but yet you can look into some people's eyes as they're lying to you, and they seem so sincere. And it really has you to beg the question: who's really telling the truth and who isn't? Because even the eyes can lie to you. I've never really understood that whole look into the eyes situation either. Every time I look at people's eyes, all I see is eyes. I don't see a lie or the truth. I just see eyes. That's it. So I really have never understood that, but whatever. But mainly I get this feeling like, of course, I've never trusted anybody in my life anyway, and I've always held that to a high standard. I don't trust anybody. But yesterday I was thinking about friends and people who have lied and stuff like that, and not mentioning no names, and I'm not worried. I don't care. The Lord will handle it. No hard feelings, no anger. All that stuff is a child's play. Being mad at somebody because they lied to you, or being upset or hating somebody because they've done you wrong, that's a child's game. It's a fool's game, really. I try my best not to get into that kind of thing because it's ridiculous. I mean, literally, you're just playing a child's game. But I had a friend once that they would they would have somebody to say something to them, and they would say something different, and then behind closed doors, when they'd come in or something, they'd be like, well, I really did do that, but they'll never know. And looking back on it now, how they talked to that person and how they talked when they got back inside, it's like both of them were like solid. It's like you'd believe the one if you had never heard the other, and you would have believed the other if you hadn't heard the other one. And it brings you back. What got me thinking about this is free will, and how people are allowed to go about deceiving and hurting and destroying other people's lives, and being home breakers and adulterous and all this. And people might ask, well, they get away with it. Why do they get away with it? Well, it's free will is what it is. The Lord wants you to choose Him. Okay, but there's only one way to be able to choose Him. It's for you to actually be able to choose. So He gives you that will to choose, and sometimes we don't choose to the best of our will. And as far as people saying, well, they get away with it. Well, no, they don't. They get to do it, they get allowed to do it, but no matter what it is, some people say that no good deed goes unpunished. And that's true. But neither does bad deeds. Bad deeds don't get unpunished either. Just like there's a thing on TikTok where it says that being good is free. You don't have to pay in to be good. And somebody else says, well, how much does being evil cost? And he starts to laugh and he says, wait. You're going to, wait, it's free, isn't it? It's free. Being evil is free too, right? And it is. Either or, being good or being evil, it's free. You can do either one. Okay. But being good will be punished, and so will evil. You got to bear in mind, people, that when you do good works, there's a devil getting angry at you, and when you do bad works, there's a God angry at you. So either way you go, you might get away with it and be able to continue to do it, but you're still going to pay for your bad deeds and your good deeds. It's like a ball game. If you're playing for the Cubs, whoever's the opposing will be after you. If you're playing for the other side's going to be after you because you're playing for the other side. That's just the way it works until we all get saved, die, and go to heaven. And then we don't have to worry about it no more. But this person, they used to do a lot of bad things to people. And I would hear about it. I never saw it, but I always heard about it. And and I noticed later that this person started getting a lot of health issues. They had high blood pressure. They had heart problems. And I think they even acquired diabetes at some point. And those are not pleasant diseases or afflictions. So yeah, God will allow you to do bad things to other people because that's just plain free will. But you will pay for your actions against God's people. So yeah, you may build an empire with your gang or your homies or whatever you're doing. You might become a queen bee or the top bee or whatever you want to call it by, cheating people out of money or selling whatever you're selling, whatever it is. There's a long rap sheet of stuff there. Or you might go back home after Sunday and have a beer with your buddies, and talk dirty and filthy about women. But besides, no matter what you do, you're still going to pay for it. I mean, people seem to think that they can do whatever they want and not pay for it. You're still going to get to do what you want, but you're going to pay for what you're doing. Well, that's karma. That's just karma. You give what you get. Karma is just another word for Jesus Christ. But people like to mask the word Jesus Christ with another word because they're afraid they might give too much credit to the big man. Ooh. Just like with the Indians with, oh, the Great Spirit. Praise the Great Spirit. They would hate me because I would end that with, oh, praise the Great Spirit Jesus Christ. Believe me, there would be no peace pipe for me in the end. I might be running out the door with an arrow after me, but there would not be no peace pipe. Even though Jesus Christ is the Great Spirit, but I don't think that's what they were talking about. They were talking about more of a nature, so to speak. Like worshiping the sun and the clouds and the trees and the birds and the reptiles and, that kind of thing. It's just like my preacher was telling me a story about a guy who used to mock God and used to talk filthy nasty and used to, praise everything but God, and he used to mock Christian people and all kinds of stuff. And then after he got saved, he had started having medical problems, different issues, and he became wheelchair bound and such. But he was still praising God after he got saved. And like my pastor told me, that's just something that's what you bring on yourself. Yes, he got saved and all, but you're going to be punished. You're going to have to go through what you've done. All your bad deeds at some point are going to come with a judgment. So you can sit there and run your mouth about how bad God is and how he doesn't do this and doesn't do that, but no matter whether you get saved or not, you're still going to be punished for what you did. Now, when he dies and he goes to heaven, which I think he already has, but I'm not sure, but if he dies and goes to heaven, then yeah, he will get healed, he will get delivered and all that. But he has to be judged right now on what he's done and continue and praise God. I mean, if you don't let God have his will in your life, he will have his way in a way that you don't want it to be. Somebody once told me that, I don't know if this was a prophecy or just something that they were saying because they were bored or what, but they said that they made a quote that if God doesn't have his way in your life, then he will have his way in the whirlwind. Which I guess they were talking about a tornado. I don't know. I guess he waits until his anger gets so overwhelming and then he just has a spin about it. I mean, that would make sense. Just like some people, they'll talk about how, oh, this one person is really, they're hurt, they have mental retardations, they have this problem, that problem. Oh, this poor guy or this poor girl. They'll go on about how they pity this person. And sometimes I pity people like that too. But the Lord told me, you don't know that person. You don't know why they're in that situation. They may talk a good game to you, they may talk nice and sweet and all to you, but behind closed doors, like I said a while ago, who are they really? And God only knows that. So I'm not telling you not to pity people that are hurt and damaged and have afflictions, but just be aware that not everybody who's in a wheelchair or who's got lung cancer or who's got diabetes or some kind of an affliction, not all of them have it for a unearned reason. For lack of a better word, I guess you could say that, an unearned reason, which means there's a reason why they have it. There might be a good reason why they have it, and there might be a bad reason, and maybe even both. It could be because they've done so much good in their life, the devil's attacking them, or it could be they've done so much bad in their life that God is allowing the devil to attack them. I know, I believe it was the Lord that told me one time, He's like, I've got a chain holding the devil back from my people. As in, like, God's sitting on the throne, and He's got a chain He's holding. And the devil is the dog tied to that chain, and the devil's just are growling and are roaring, and he's wanting to eat and tear up and destroy God's people. And the devil's just pulling and tugging and snapping that chain. And the Lord just was like, James, if I even had a thought, just for just of a millisecond of a thought of loosening that chain, you'd all be gone, done for, infinite suffering. And it's true. If God even thought of loosening, letting go, or anything, not even letting go of the chain, just having a thought, thinking it up in existence, we'd be done for. So yeah, I believe the devil is a tool that God uses for His glory. If the devil does something that doesn't matches God's will, he simply slaps the devil's hand and says, no. If somebody is making him mad, he'll say, okay, go ahead, do that. I'll get him to change their minds. All he has to simply do is just loosen his grip on that chain, and the devil does what he wants to do. And when God's made his point, he pulls the chain back and he tightens it up, and then the devil's right back where he started from. So yeah, God is fully in control. We just don't know it. And that's mostly because of our fleshly mind. We're like, all these bad things are happening, and we're not understanding that times are getting closer to the end. That's why all these things are happening, to wake us up. He's taking a sledgehammer to our foreheads to wake us up because we're too focused on TikTok, Instagram, our television, our music, our stereos, our video games, washing and waxing our muscle cars, collecting and buying piles of shoes and high heels, talking about other women making us look better, being top bees or trying to be top queen bees, trying our best to be top gangsters and high rolling businessmen. I mean, we create our own problems. That really has nothing to do with God. But anyway, there's just so much more to talk about on this. But I just ain't got enough GB and not enough time. But anyway, I hope this helps you with your journey with Christ. Go in the name of Jesus.